He's got a solid group of people around him that they have varying nuances in their views, but they aren't wide apart, they aren't far apart, and they are willing to support his leadership. So right now, of course, markets are focused on whether they'll signal two additional cuts or the one additional cut that they had in June. That really comes down to a judgment call by Chair Powell, whether that kind of urgency is needed to ratify current market pricing or whether they want to signal more caution. And whatever whatever he decides as the leader of this committee, we expect a pretty solid group to rally behind him and support that judgment. So he's not terribly lonely. It's an increasingly divided committee, but that group in the middle is still the biggest, most important block of people driving that central view.
We seem to have reverted to a normal timeline here for the succession of a Federal Reserve chair. It doesn't seem immediate like it did maybe a few weeks or months ago. But I wanted to ask you about how you see the role of a Fed chair at his or her most efficacious. So we've talked a bit here about the way that Chair Powell for so many years was able to galvanize those members of the board, have these unanimous decisions. It seems like we're moving away from that. What does unanimity say about the effectiveness of a Federal Reserve chair? Is that the goal? Is that the North Star? What is the role of the Fed chair vis-a-vis the rest of the committee in trying to get other members onto his or her side here when it comes to making these policy decisions?
Right. No, it's an excellent question, and the norm over the longer span of history and set of Fed chairs is that there usually are a few dissents, or that dissents are entirely normal, to have anywhere from 1 to 3 dissents on either side, dovish or hawkish, sometimes occasionally on both sides, is not unusual. And no, chairs do not view that as failure. They try to encourage open debate, diversity of opinion. And in general, you don't get that many dissents because as a sort of social decision-making body, once you're dissenting with the chair, you might lose a little bit of leverage convincing the chair of your argument. So they don't tend to be a lot, but a few of them is normal. And, Chair Powell has always proudly proclaimed that he welcomes the debate, thinks that leads to better decision making. I think part of the reason he's had a tenure with so few dissents partly reflects that he's been the chair through the pandemic. And during the pandemic, I know there was a real sense of we need to show unanimity to, really drive the message home and have a bigger impact on markets.